Something I hear people struggle with a lot is, okay, if God is all-knowing and all-loving and all-powerful, why doesn't he just accept sin? Why do we have to go through this whole thing of sin and punishment and separation and there's heaven and hell and all of that? Like, if God is so loving, why does that whole system exist? It's an absolutely fantastic question, by the way. Like, an all-loving God, you'd think logically would just want to accept everyone, but here's why that can't happen. So I think we can all pretty much agree that molding yourself to be in a relationship with someone isn't really a great thing. It's not gonna work. Think about a person who's healthy in a relationship with someone who is really toxic. I think we've all probably been there. Someone who has a healthy self-worth, who has done a lot of work on themselves, who puts in a lot of work to relationships, it's just not going to work. If someone who's healthy tries to lower themselves in order to be with someone who is not, it doesn't work. If you're not on the same page, it's not gonna work. And furthermore, if you do change yourself to fit that relationship, that's not a real, genuine relationship. You don't actually love that person. That person doesn't actually love you. They love a version of you that doesn't actually exist. And you're not loving that person by lowering yourself to them in order to accept where they're at. You are basically buying their love with your own bad behavior. But here's the cool part. God doesn't just go, okay, you guys are toxic, I'm walking away. Not at all. Like, completely the opposite. He fully could have. He could have gone, okay, this did not go how I was wanting it to go. These guys are insane. I'm out. Which I've got other thoughts on why he even allowed a system in which people were able to fail and therefore be separated from him. But that's a whole different video. He created a way to bridge that gap. And of course, here comes the Sunday school answer of, okay, yeah, Jesus is the answer. But stop and think for a moment about how incredibly cool that actually is. God was well within his rights to just be like, okay, I'm leaving you guys to your own devices, to the point that a lot of people believe that he has. But he didn't choose to do that. He chose to create a system that would allow for the relationship between us and him to not just continue, but be completely unfettered. Like, there is zero space. There has to be zero space between us and God now. We have an intercessor, that's Jesus, who talks to God for us, who bridges that gap. And literally all we have to do is trust in that and believe in that. And there's a lot that goes along with that. This is like a very, very, very big oversimplification. But at the end of the day, God can't change himself to be in a relationship with us, because that's not a real relationship. That's not truth. That's not reality. And God can't lie. So he can't change himself to fit into the box of our expectations. He just can't. And we wouldn't want him to, because that wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be genuine. If you're new here, hi, I'm Rachel. I talk a lot about Jesus and ADHD and motherhood and a lot of other stuff that's going on in my life. So I would love for you to follow along and let me know what questions you have. Let's talk about it in the comments.